big MMA news. We got Paddy Pimblett taking on Jared Gordon at UFC 282. We got Johnny Walker and Paul Craig at UFC 283. And Neil Magny and Daniel Rodriguez being rescheduled after the injury for Daniel Rodriguez has been rescheduled for November 5th. A few of us thought we might have gotten a replacement for that fight, but it is scheduled for November 5th. All of this in today's MMA news video. I'll give my early prediction, my thoughts on the fights, and who I think gains more for the win, what I think will happen next if they do eventually win these fights. Make sure to go down and like this video if you are a supporter of the Bert MMA channel. Comment down below your predictions for these three fights and subscribe as usual. Turn on notifications. That is essential so you get more MMA news videos, live streams, where y'all can ask me anything about MMA. With all that being said, let's get into the news. Paddy Pimblett and Jared Gordon at UFC 282 on the main card of the pay-per-view. And I'm looking at UFC 282 right now, and that fight card is looking absolutely amazing, with the most likely main events probably being somewhat of a maybe Yuri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira, or maybe even Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic inside of the UFC. So that fight card is going to look amazing, and with the addition of a potential Jared Gordon Paddy Pimblett fight, it would be absolutely amazing. If you do not know, now you will know. Paddy Pimblett is planning to fight at UFC 282. He's already began his training camp to fight on the main card of UFC 282's pay-per-view. We got a lot of good fights. Look up UFC 282 on Google. You'll see some very good fights on that main card. But obviously, they're going to put Paddy versus Jared Gordon on that main card. And the reason I say Jared Gordon, obviously, is not an official fight to be had at UFC 282. But Jared Gordon has called out Paddy. Paddy is definitely keen on a matchup with Jared Gordon. As if you look at Jared Gordon's record, we'll show it right here. He's lost by third round submission to Grant Dawson, first round knockout to the champ Charles Oliveira, third round and first round knockout to Diego Ferreira and Joaquim Silva, and a third round TKO doctor stoppage to Jeff Lentz as well. And even in his amateur MMA career, he ended up losing one of those by knockout. So pretty much every single fight of Jared Gordon is a finish that he is losing by, and every win is going to be a decision, which is a perfect fight for a guy like Paddy Pimblett, who's going to go out there looking for a guy that doesn't have the best finishing ability, but gets finished a lot in their fight. So Paddy is a perfect opponent for him, is going to be Jared Gordon. That's the fight I do think will get made for UFC 282. And when it gets made, I am confident that this will be the fight. Jared Gordon's 34 years old, lost to Grant Dawson. They're going to make this fight. They both won it. Paddy's trying to fight at UFC 282. Jared, I'm pretty sure is going to be keen on fighting at UFC 282, as he's fighting on a lot of pay-per-views recently, most recently on that UFC 278 pay-per-view. But my prediction for that one, Jared Gordon's going to go out there trying to strike with Paddy. He might have some mediocre success with that for a little bit. Then Paddy Pimblett is going to go out there, hurt him on the feet, get him to the ground, and submit him in round number 2. I got Paddy smashing Jared Gordon and finishing him in round 1 or round number 2. I will go round number 2, but I won't be surprised if it is a round 1 submission. What do y'all think? Paddy Jared Cannonier in the lightweight division. Who wins? And does the fight officially get made now that Gordon has called out Paddy, and Paddy is going to be wanting and is going to be fighting at UFC 282? Put your thoughts down below. Like it. Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker in the light heavyweight division. Johnny Walker, 19-7, one of the most exciting fighters in this UFC's light heavyweight division, as only one fight inside of the UFC has gone to a decision. Other than that, he has all first round wins and has lost by first round knockout, and the other 2 losses with 2 fights going to a decision, getting a first round submission win on Iwan Cutelaba. So you already know Johnny Walker is kill or be killed, and he's gonna be fighting Paul Craig, most likely at UFC 283, probably gonna be on the main card. As right now we do have Mauricio Shogun Hua, Ihor Potieria, Gregory Rodriguez, Brad Tavares, and the Brandon Moreno Davis and Figueiredo fight, but I'm assuming they're gonna put Johnny versus Paul on the main card of that pay-per-view, as the Iwan Cutelaba fight for Johnny Walker was on the main card of that pay-per-view. So why not make it the main card of a Brazilian pay-per-view? Johnny Walker's been talking about his future opponents in the light heavyweight division, who he would like to see next, and his immediate response was Paul Craig, who's coming off a loss to Volkan Oezdemir, beats Nikita Krylov, Jamal Hill, Mauricio Shogun, who got a draw against him as well, and only loses by first round knockout. If he's getting finished, it's a first round knockout. Tyson Pedro, Khalil Roundtree, and Alonzo Menifio. Johnny Walker is the perfect guy to go out there and get a TKO knockout win in round 1 over Paul Bear Jew Craig, but he's also the perfect guy to maybe even mix in some grappling, as we saw that he had some good submission game against Iwan Cutelaba. So it's a good one. I will be going Johnny Walker to win if the fight should get made by a TKO in round 1 or in round number 2. But it is a banger. Paul Craig with literally every single fight of his entire career that are wins coming by a finish. 13 submissions and 3 knockouts. Only 1 fight going to a decision, and it was his last fight against Volkan Oezdemir. I don't think this fight goes all the way. Johnny Walker by TKO. Put your predictions down below. And that rhymes. Neil Magny and Daniel Rodriguez in the welterweight division. Neil Magny and Drod has been scheduled for an immediate rematch. Not an immediate rematch, but it has been rescheduled from UFC Fight Night Grasso Araujo's main card to, well, the main card of UFC Fight Night, Mitchell versus Evloev, which I am certain that Movsar Evloev will be pulling out of that fight, and we will get Ilia Topuria or Sadiq Yusuf to step in on short notice. But there's only 2 main card fights on this UFC Fight Night. Now we got Neil Magny, Daniel Rodriguez as a good welterweight addition to that main card. Now we will have, what was it, 7 ranked fighters on this UFC Fight Night. Should be a good one. I am gonna go Neil Magny, as that was my prediction to begin with for UFC Fight Night Grasso versus Araujo. Adding on an injury for Daniel Rodriguez makes my prediction a little bit more confident. So I got Neil Magny by a decision. That is it for today's MMA news. Paddy Pimblett, Jared Gordon at 282. Johnny Walker, Paul Craig at 283. Neil Magny, Drod rescheduled for November 5th. Like and subscribe. Turn on those notifications down below after you subscribe to the channel, and comment all of your predictions. I'm not kidding. A separate comment for each. Say Paddy Pimblett by submission, Johnny Walker by TKO, Neil Magny by decision, all in separate comments. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.